everyone, welcome to Highspots from a Mark's Life. Stories from my real life in wrestling. Wrestling. No, not amateur Greco-Roman wrestling type wrestling. I'm talking the big time wrestling. Pro wrestling. I'm talking tables, ladders, chairs, blood and guts, and technical holds, high spots, marks, pops, work rate, 5 stars, the boys. I don't know what else to tell you. Managers, valets, elbow pads, pro wrestling. And all this probably sounds like a different language. I'm basically talking a language that's probably alien to most of you if you've never watched professional wrestling before. However, you may have watched it, and if you're under 15 and like professional wrestling, you may be so enthralled by professional wrestling that you won't hear a bad word said against your favorite wrestlers. And to you, every battle is a battle of good versus evil, and you really hope that good wins, although sometimes the bad guys win. And yes, I'm aware, before you say anything or write anything down, I know that it's all predetermined. But let me tell you, you can't fake some of the things that I've seen in pro wrestling at all. You can't fake how happy I was to see the Hardy Boys show up at WrestleMania 31. You can't fake gravity when somebody sidewalk slams you or puts a spine buster on you or you hit the turnbuckles, which I know from firsthand experience. And you just can't fake being a fan of professional wrestling, honestly. But what I say to you young fans right now, keep that fire inside as long as you can. But know that eventually it changes, all right? It becomes something different, something greater if you remain a fan for long enough. Now, I've been a fan of wrestling since I was a little kid. This age, look at me. Look at that little guy. And there's my dad learning that Playmobil toys are not the easiest thing to build. Hi, Dad. We were living in Germany at the time of that picture. That was our first Christmas there, as a matter of fact. Now, I love pro wrestling, but we didn't get any in Germany. We were living on a military base. So when we returned to America in 1985 to Tampa, Florida, wrestling was not only exploding in popularity across the country because of things like Starrcade and WrestleMania. Wrestling in Tampa, that was wrestling, okay? That's just what they did most of the time during the week. And that year, the biggest feud across all federations except WWF was my favorite wrestler of all time, Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, against the world champion, Ric Flair. Shortly after that, when I was 10 or 11, wrestling was everything to me. Blackjack Mulligan, Kendall Windham, Barry Windham, Pistol Pez Watley, Hector Guerrero, and Dusty Rhodes. Kendo Nagasaki, the Cuban assassin. I cheered the good guys and booed the bad guys. See, my mom was a cosmetologist. She cut hair at the Manhattan School of Beauty. And the boys went there for their salon needs. Cuts and dyes, manicures even. Looking at you, Ramblin' Rickus. All right? But my mom mainly worked with the undercard guys. My days were spent at school, of course, during the school year. Thursday morning before walking to school, though, Anderson Elementary, go Ants. And that's where it was. I'd shake my mom down for everything that happened at the fights the night before on Wednesday. My dad only occasionally went, but my mom was there damn near every week, along with the ladies from the Manhattan School of Beauty. The single ladies from there were there for the studly dudes, and my mom was there for the wrestling action. And to assure the boys looked good with their new haircuts. Occasionally she'd be, talking to them about all that stuff. So, one day, Ric Flair, the world champion, sometime in 1986, I think. I can't quite remember when this was. Came into the Manhattan School of Beauty and got the full superstar treatment. Hair, manicure, the works. My mom, who passed away about 2 years ago, she was a hero, an amazing woman, all right? And in her amazingness, told Ric Flair that her sons were massive fans of wrestling. So the champ asked, "Who's your favorite wrestler, sweetheart?" In his unsubtle way of giving her the answer, which is Ric Flair. But my mom, well, we'll just say she took after her dad. And that's a story for another time, but so when Ric Flair asked her who her boy's favorite wrestler was, meaning it damn well better be
Rolex wearing, woo! Diamond ring wearing, woo! Kiss stealing, woo! Wheeling dealing, woo! Limousine riding, woo! Jet flying, woo! Son of a gun, woo! And I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down. Give me 2 claps and a Ric Flair. Woo!
That's not what my mom did. My mom looked in his baby blues jacket and she told Ric Flair to his face, "My son Jeremy says you. My son Danny loves Dusty Rhodes. And you, Blondie, She said you. But you got to watch out for that Lex Luger. So that sets the champ to laughing, and before he leaves, he tips like a gangster leaving the Copa to every lady in the place, even ladies that weren't involved in what was going on with him. My mom wasn't doing anything with him, but to my mom, he gives a family photo of himself from my brother and a decent tip. Now, I told you that story so I could tell you this story. Okay, this story comes a couple years later. My mom and dad were in the throes of a pre-divorce. Ugly stuff. I won't go into it very much, just to say that they were always fighting. One afternoon, my folks are having a real shouting match, and we're up in our room, my brother and I. My brother keeps asking me why they're always yelling and fighting and what's going to happen. I mean, I was 13, a real moody cuss, and so I didn't have the patience for a kid brother and sister looking to me for impossible answers. And meanwhile, since my dad's off doing stuff in the army that was away from home for long periods of time, I was basically taking care of them almost all the time. So finally, super angry, I tell my brother, you know what? It's because you're my half-brother. Nuh-uh. Oh, yes, huh? Mom fooled around with another guy and now, here's you. Nuh-uh. Go check Mom's purse. Dad found the picture Mom's been keeping of your real dad. Nuh-uh. Well, then go ask Dad then if you don't believe me. So, my brother, choosing the wiser course, goes and gets my mom's purse out of the living room and brings it upstairs. And there, in her purse's wallet, was something amazing. He finds an Olin Mills wallet-sized picture of Ric Flair, the world's heavyweight champion. And for 1 second, one sweet, glorious, amazing second, my brother bought it. He actually believed it for just a second. Then, of course, he realized my mom told us how she got the photo a couple years back and called me a jackass. And here is the picture. It's been washed a bunch, though. I mean, it's been through the ringer. My brother keeps it in a drawer now in an envelope because it split in two. And then it had been put back together and had been chipped around the edge so you can see that. But, you know, like the man himself, that picture survives, you know, as a reminder of this Mark's journey as a fan over the many, many years. I trusted in my brother's care because he's an amazing guy. And, well, he is Ric Flair's illegitimate kid. Oh, boy. And, folks, this is just the tip of the Mark iceberg. I've got a bunch of wrestling stories, and we'll see you next time. So if you liked what you heard today, please give me a thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm to make my stuff seen by people. If you want to know when I have another one of these videos up, just go ahead and click the subscribe button. And that's about it. Share with your friends if you think they'd be interested in hearing a Mark's, the high spots of a Mark's life. So until then, remember to stay retro, and we'll talk to you next time. Peace.